Make your way into a child's pose on your mat. Bring your knees close together for more of a stretch, or wider apart to make space for any tightness in the lower body. Extend the arms ahead of you. Bring your forehead to the floor. And in this child's pose, taking a few deep breaths into the belly, filling your back body with breath as you sink your sitting bones down to the heels. Coming back to yourself, coming into your practice. And maybe here in the child's pose, setting an intention for your practice today. What are you looking to gain through doing this? What is the feeling that you want to walk off the mat with at the end? Or maybe what are you seeking to let go of that is no longer serving you? Now extending into the hands, rise up to your tabletop position, tuck the toes under and press it back to downward facing dog. Already feeling an amazing stretch in the hamstrings. Begin to pedal out the feet, bend one knee and then the other. Give the hips a little wiggle. Opening that chest, back of the neck is long. Couple more breaths here. And now we'll roll through the spine into a plank, just warming up the body, hips in line with the shoulders. Exhale, lift them high, press it back. Again, roll it forward, make that high plank shape. Then lift the hips as you bend the knees and wave back to downward dog. And again, coming forward and back. Another full cycle of breath in your downward facing dog now. And then keeping the hips square, lift your right leg. As you exhale, bring it forward and step it between the hands. Bring your left knee down, high on the fingertips or maybe on some blocks, just feeling that stretch in the hips, in the left hip flexor. Wiggle around and then take a deep breath in. As you exhale, send the hips back for a half split position. And then we'll move with the breath, inhaling to come forward. Exhale to move it back. Couple more. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, move it back. Maybe even bringing the elbows to the mat now if that's accessible to you. Flexing the right toes, being as high up with the body as you need, as feels good on your body. Keeping the chest lifted as much as you can. And a few nice deep breaths, sending that energy out to the space where you feel a deep stretch and deep sensation. And then from here, bending into the right knee, walk the hands forward so you're almost in a tabletop position. Take your right ankle to the left thigh, open the right knee out. So you're making a figure of four shape with the legs. Then you can tuck the left toes under and bring yourself into a downward facing dog with that right leg crossed over the left. Should be feeling quite a stretch here already. Hold and breathe. And then you can take that right leg back and behind the left. So the ball of your right foot comes around onto the outside of the left foot. Press into the right heel. Just feeling a slightly different stretch here in your downward dog. Just feeling a slightly different stretch here in your downward facing dog. And now we'll step the right foot all the way to the outside of the right hand now. Coming high on the hands, walking that left foot back slightly. So you're in a long lizard lunge, making sure that right ankle is right underneath the right knee. You can take a little bit of a rock back and forward here. Feeling that stretch. And then you can bring the left knee down. And we'll take the elbows to the mat as well if you can. If not, just stay up on the hands. Otherwise, seeing how you can breathe into it and feel how the breath and the time in the pose allows you to melt further into the position. Now just really settling into your breath. And we'll spend maybe even a couple of minutes here just to really get deep into those muscles that are so tight. And as you breathe, you might feel a little bit of that tension releasing. This is really the way we need to stretch if we want to build a lot of flexibility. If we only ever stretch for a few seconds on each side, we're never really going to get further into poses. Not that that is the entire point of yoga, but if you're really trying to work on your flexibility, these long, almost yin style yoga poses are what you're going to need, as well as some strength training to balance out your flexibility. From here you can walk up onto the hands. Just taking the fingertips tented, you can straighten and then bend that right knee just to give a little bit of movement and blood flow back. And then taking the right hand on the outside of the leg, heel toe the right foot across, and can come down into a pigeon position. Now I've got a bit of a issue with my right knee, so I'm going to roll onto the outside of my right hip. If your knees feel okay in this position, then you can square the hips towards the mat. You can take any angle with that right shin that feels okay for you. And then you're going to fold your way down over that front leg. And begin to breathe. If you're high up off the mat like me in this position, you can bring a cushion underneath your right sitting bone. Now just breathing down into that tension. use these deep stretches to take the opportunity to feel whatever is not serving you, whatever you no longer need, let it leave now, let it go with each exhale. And then from there we can walk our way back up onto the hands and taking that right leg to a 90-degree angle, so the shin is parallel with the top edge of the mat. Swing your left leg around. You're going to come into a double pigeon. So your left leg is going to cross over your right knee, both feet flexed. If this position doesn't work for you, for your knees, for your hips, you can come to lying down and take a figure of four shape with the legs. Otherwise, we're taking this double pigeon, either staying upright on the sitting bones, flexing those feet, or making your way down over the legs to feel a bit of a deeper stretch. And really, again, connecting in with that breath. Feel where you're holding on to tension that you don't need. Maybe you're gripping your toes or your fingers into fists. Maybe your brow is furrowed. Just try to take that moment to relax everything that you can be relaxed. And then gently from there you can begin to walk your way up. Take the legs out in front of you. Just give the knees a nice little sway from side to side. And then we'll make our way over the legs and back into our downward facing dog like before. Now stepping the left foot forward to the top edge of the mat. Bring your right knee down. Time to balance out all that opening that we've done on one side. Staying high on the fingertips. Open your chest. Inhale. Exhale. Move it back into your half split position. Stretch the back of that hamstring. And then a couple more times. Inhale. Come forward. Exhale. Move it back. And one more, coming forward. Exhale to move it back. And then again, melting into that pose as you lengthen the body over the front leg. A few deep breaths here. Really getting deep into that hamstring by flexing the toes towards your face. And then walking it forward, coming to our tabletop position with the left ankle crossed over the right knee. Tuck your right toes under. And then press to our funky downward dog with the pigeon cross of the ankle. Taking a couple of full breaths, feeling that stretch come into the hip and the back of the right leg. And then you can unhook the left leg, cross it onto the outside of the right foot. So you're in that cross leg downward dog. And then again, just feeling this different stretch in the downward dog and staying with your breath. And from here, lift your left leg high, And then scoop it forward and step it to the outside of the left hand for your lizard position. First of all, staying lifted up on the hands and just giving yourself a rock forward and back. Opening up those hips. And then you can bring the back knee down and either staying up on the hands, or if you can bring both elbows down, coming down onto the elbows, relaxing the head down, whichever position you've taken. Coming back into that breath, in and out through the nose. If you are tempted by your mind to bring yourself out of the pose early, then just practice resisting that urge as long as there's no real pain or a feeling like you're hurting yourself. If it's just a stretch that you're feeling and your mind is telling you to come out, just practice giving that moment extra, staying in the pose. This is such a powerful way to teach ourselves that our thoughts are not in control of us. We are not our thoughts. From there, you can walk your hands back up. Heel toe your left foot cross to the opposite edge, to the right wrist now, coming into your pigeon shape on the other side. Now, like it is for me, it might be quite different on this side. I find this a lot easier on the left. Maybe for you it's the other way, so not forcing it to be the same as the other side, but finding that angle with the leg that works for your knee and trying to square the hips as much as you can, as long as that feels okay on your joints. And then you can walk your way down onto your elbows, or even extend the body further over that front leg and breathe. Again, taking a cushion underneath your left hip if you need it. Coming back to that breath. Really slowing down the exhales even more. Each time a distraction or a thought comes into your mind, very gently just let it go and bring yourself back onto your breath. You are allowed to choose which thoughts you attach to and which you don't, which you allow to just pass by like clouds moving past in the sky. Very slowly from here, walking the hands back up. Swing your back leg around. Make yourself into a little pretzel, bringing your right ankle on top of your left knee for your double pigeon. Now your shins might be all the way stacked on top of each other if you're open through the hips, or you might be like me and have quite a bit of space between the knee and that foot. Whichever it is, that's okay. You could sit up on a blanket or cushion here if you feel like your back is rounding. Grow tall through the spine and either stay upright in this shape or bring your body down over the legs to really get deep into that hip and the piriformis. Coming back to that breath once again. Imagine you could send each inhale to the tension that you feel and release it with each exhale. And now slowly walking your hands back up, uncross the legs. Give your toes a little wiggle, give your hips a sway from side to side. Your knees are sway from side to side. And then extending the legs out along the mat. Bring yourself down to lying on your back. And either just going straight into Shavasana or dropping the knees over to the right for a twist through the spine. Breathe down into your belly here, taking that gentle twist. And then moving over the other way when you're ready. And now coming slowly into the center, extend the legs, heels as wide apart as the mat, arms down by your sides, making yourself comfortable, grabbing a blanket if you have one nearby. And now giving yourself these few moments of total stillness, letting your body and yourself absorb all the effects of this practice today. Settling into stillness. Now wiggling your fingers and toes. Turn your head gently from side to side. And when you're ready, make your way over to one side. Take a moment on your side. And when you're ready, press yourself up sideways to a seated position. Finding a tall spine. Taking another couple of deep breaths in and out. Now I invite you to bring your hands to heart center. Bow your head. Thank yourself for taking the time to take this practice today. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. I really hope that you're feeling so much more open and light in your body now. If you enjoyed this, please let me know in the comments, and as always, send me your video requests, as I love making the videos that you want. So don't forget to like the video and subscribe. I post at least one yoga tutorial every single week. I hope you have the most beautiful day. I'll see you soon.